Hi everyone, in this video we will add some color to the site layout using AutoCAD. If you prefer to use Photoshop, then feel free to skip to the next video. This is roughly where we got to on the previous video. Now we need to add some layers so we can add the colors, and with each of the colors we're going to use a hatch for that. So we're going to create a layer for each of the hatch types. So GA road hatch. We'll choose a color for this. Let's choose index color 253, sort of middle shade of gray there. We'll call another layer GA path hatch. This is for the footpaths just around the main part of the site. And then we'll call another one GA paving hatch. And for this one, this will be the driveway and paving areas within the plots themselves. So let's choose a color like that. I guess there may be some flexibility just in terms of the way the colors all match each other at a later point. We could always update some of these if there's a little clash of any colors. Next layer needs to be called GA house hatch. And let's choose an orange for that one. Yeah, index color 32. And the last one for now, we'll call this GA grass hatch. We're not going to choose the previous color up there, just because that will print out black. So that one's pretty similar. Let's choose slightly different green. And we'll make the GA road hatch layer current. And close that window for now. So we will be doing the road hatching first of all. This is the area between the footpaths on both the roads down the middle of the site. And we want that to be a little bit tidier just in terms of what we need. So let's delete some of the lines. Let's not delete that one until we've exploded it. Okay. And I guess just with what's happening here, there would be a little bit of work maybe to fix the site as such, just to make sure that the road matches. Let's use the match properties tool for that line. Okay, and we'll trim that line off. And on this side, we might need to use the explode tool as well. Wonder will that one trim? Okay. Let's see, delete some of the lines at least. Potentially, yeah, that one overlaps. I guess we can just make that layer current. Draw the blue line from there to there. And then we can copy that line and trim it. Just to indicate at this point in time anyway that things are sorted out and the junction will work. Same goes for over here. Just deleting the lines again that we don't need. There's a couple of lines there probably. Just making sure that we don't delete longer polylines that we do need some parts of. Okay. It's probably best again just to draw in a little bit of a line here to fill in the gap. Otherwise we'll have problems when it comes to, that's 15 degrees. Let's just copy that line to get the exact angle again, see what that looks like. That's not too bad. Maybe that needs trimmed. Okay. So that might work in terms of filling it in now. Let's go back to the hatch layer, and the hatch tool is here. So when we click on the hatch tool, the ribbon is adaptive, so that will load a new tab based on the hatch tab or the hatch tools. So we're going to choose a solid hatch. We just want the shade to be a good clear color. And if we click in the middle here where the road is going to be, since we've tried to resolve some of the gaps, maybe this will work. So after waiting for a few minutes, it didn't work. What we can do instead then is draw a polyline and use that. So we'll just draw a polyline and then we can delete it afterwards. Now, when we're following the edges of curves here, we'll just need to be quite specific about what we do. We can use the nearest tool there. Even temporarily, we can turn the nearest tool on just to allow us to go around the corner a little bit better, more accurately. And that'll just allow us to fill that in nicely. Let's see where the endpoint is at this stage. It's way over there. Let's choose nearest again twice more. Endpoint, okay. And then we go right down to the far end of the line. And then again, resort to nearest. Because nearest is on, we can keep using that. That's the midpoint. Okay, there's an intersection there probably, endpoint. And let's choose a point here. And we'll keep going. It's a little bit laborious, but it does draw it accurately at least. Where's the endpoint this time? So, okay. Right down to the far end again, pick up the endpoint. Then using the nearest tool just to get around the curve. And then C will close that off. So now if we use the hatch tool, that should pick that up more accurately. It hasn't entirely. It's picked up part of the footpath there, so I wonder where the gap is. Let's see if we can use that instead and just use the hatch with the polyline. Because we have the polyline, that allows us to use that instead. That's much better. And we can repeat the process for the other side and for the footpaths. This is what the site location map should look like once the hatching has been done for the different road and path areas. So in the previous section of the video, I think I had been drawing the hatch on the path layer. I did change it over to the roads layer, the darker layer. So the roads are darker than the footpaths are, and notice that the hatch there is hiding the lines for the one-way street, so we can select that and send it back just to have that showing appropriately. Also notice that I did have the planting area hidden just so that it didn't interfere with the hatching for the footpaths there. So we're going to leave that off just for the next section. We're going to move over to the paving layer. So it is up to each individual to decide exactly how that will be presented, but I'm going to draw a couple of lines just here and use the fillet tool, making sure that we put the radius down as 0. And we will do something like that. Okay. Actually, I suppose we want to offset by maybe 1,500 just for some path area at the back there. And we can again use the fillet tool like so. And let's mirror that. We'll do 2 plots just at once to see how this works. And we'll turn off the car spaces there just at the moment. And then we'll use the hatching tool. Use the pick point. And then that can be replicated around the remainder of the plots. Once the paving area around each of the houses has been filled in, it should look something like this. And we can move on to the next layer then for the grass. So we'll just use the hatch tool here. And again, it'll be a solid hatch, and we'll not do too many all in one go, just in case there are any problems. Let's take our time, just do a few each at a go. Let's try some of these plots over here, see what it goes like. Okay. And repeating the command just by hitting enter each time here. Oh, didn't like that one. Let's leave that for a moment just to see. We'll fill in the hatching here, picking up the maybe planting our grass, probably planting at that point, but this will do for now. Where are the lines for that? I wonder will this work? Okay, that is the grass layer complete at this stage. And then we can move on to the house hatch layer. And I'm going to hide. Is there a layer with those names on that? Or what way is that? Plot names. Yep. So we'll just hide that layer. And we can fill in, hopefully, quite quickly the different hatches for the houses. Just clicking each time within the rectangle for each of the houses as such, 20 plots, like so. And then we can turn the plot names layer back on again. So the final thing that you may want to do, I mean, you could always do other things, but maybe there's a bit of hatching needs to go in here either side of the footpaths in those areas. I'm not going to worry about those just at the moment. What I will turn back on is the planting layer, and rather than try to edit each of those individually, I'll maybe just see if we can edit the block in place. Okay, and what we can do is use, well, potentially we could just add a new layer and call it GA tree hatch. And we'll choose a darker green than the other one this time. So let's choose, I mean, you could use a couple of different hatch colors. Let's choose a slightly darker one, that'll do. Make the layer current. And then we can draw a circle, just roughly the right size there. Let's see how this works. I mean, you don't necessarily need to be 100% accurate with all of this, so long as it shows fairly close into what we have. And we'll use the hatch tool here. Choose select and click on the circle. Hit enter. And then we'll just select that hatch and send it to the back so we can see the lines correctly. And then we can save changes. That'll edit them all. Okay, so now we can see that some of the trees are a different type. Let's edit the other tree then. So edit block in place. And we'll just go through the same process. Draw a circle. or could we get roughly where the center of that circle is going to be? Yeah, it's a little bit hard to tell maybe. Let's try drawing a circle from that sort of point there, I suppose. That looks like it would do. We can delete the lines temporarily, or those lines that were temporary. Let's choose the hatch again and click select. And let's select it and send it to the back. But let's select it again and make it a slightly different tone just for some variety. Okay. And now we can see the changes. Click OK. And that will give us a little bit of variation in the colors of the trees, like so. The only other thing to do then is to add in some people and some cars. I will do that briefly just for a couple of examples. So let's go over to the furniture layer. We can click on a car and pick up one person, Control and C, and then bring them over. Now they are on a layer which is currently red. I guess we can pick up that person, maybe put them on the footpath here. And with the car, I suppose we probably want to align that a little bit better. So let's draw a line down the center of the car. We are maybe on the wrong layer at the moment for doing that. Let's move it over, put it on the furniture layer, and select those two objects. We can block reference. Okay, we can move that up. Just for now, we can put it on the, let's turn off a couple of layers actually, because selecting things is becoming a little bit hard here. That one there, at least anyway, we can rotate by the reference point, like so. Just making sure we click lines in the right order here. I know I'm doing this quite quickly, so if you're following the video, it might take a little bit of time just to get it accurately. I'm going to move the car down to the bottom there as well. Technically, I've done the car the wrong way around since it's a one-way street. Let's maybe rotate that 180. That looks better. So we'll put it roughly in the middle of the road, and we'll create another new layer, and we'll call it GA. Car, hatch, and what color will make that? We'll maybe make it red. Okay. Make it current. And at this stage, really, it's a case of just potentially tracing around the car. So let's draw a polyline at this stage. I'm not going to draw it completely accurately. Let's take it down and include the wing mirror at least anyway, a little bit. If you're drawing it yourself, you would need to spend a little bit more time than this, but it's just for the principle. I'm conscious that the video is getting quite long now, so let's just draw roughly where the car needs to be. Okay, and we could probably fix a couple of those lines that I wasn't totally accurate with at one stage. So we'll use the hatch tool. Again, just emphasize that you probably should draw it a bit more accurately, but let's do that. Let's send it to back. And then let's notice that with the glass, we probably want to draw let's do a selection window. Let's do another layer and call it GA glass hatch. Make layer current. We'll hide the other layer. So with this, I'm going to use the select window. No, the pick point window. Boundary cannot be determined. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not just 100% accurate there with the glass as such. It may involve drawing a polyline around again just to get the hatching for the window drawn nicely. Again, I am going a little bit quicker than I maybe should. But we want that layer to be a dark grey sort of color. That's very often the way glass will show like a black or a grey color as such. So just as one example, we can fill in the glass there, and then we can turn back on the hatching layer. But you can do the same for the other elements of glass, and you can probably give the hair color and the clothing color of the person something of a different color. So at this stage, that's just interestingly, actually, before I turn that layer back on, it has picked up the wrong area for the road there as such, but I don't think it will matter if we turn the layers back on. So overall, that's something like what the site plan should look like once it's colored in AutoCAD. The final thing is to create the JPEG. So I guess this is the layout we'd used previously on the last video, but if we're going to use a JPEG, put it on a poster or something like that, we probably want to use this layout tab here without a title block. That information might be on the poster itself. So we'll use this layout and go to the Output tab, choose Page Setup Manager and Modify, and rather than DWG to PDF, this time we'll publish it to JPEG. And if we hit preview, that's showing okay for me. It may not necessarily work straight away for you. It might require you to create a new page size. I'll come up with a default option. Do you want to create a new size for this particular drawing? Just click OK. That should work. And the ATM plot style will mean that the colors and so on are printing out okay. So that's the Page Setup Manager complete. We can now go to plot. We just want to plot a single sheet. And we'll click OK. Well, click preview just to double check everything. That looks good. We'll click plot. And there are other files already in that folder. I guess we want to call it combined Austin map color. And that should suffice at this point. That's it finished. And then if we go to the PDF and JPEG folder, we can double click on that, open it up, and it looks pretty good overall. So the licensing code is also at the bottom, or the text is also at the bottom, and that looks perfect. So that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful.